World War III is a horrifying concept that, in our interconnected and increasingly volatile world, cannot be entirely ruled out. While it is impossible to predict the future with certainty, this video aims to present a realistic scenario of how a global conflict could escalate into World War III. By analyzing geopolitical tensions, military capabilities, and historical precedents, we can gain insight into the potential factors that could trigger a Third World War. 1. Geopolitical tensions. In the years leading up to a hypothetical World War III, geopolitical tensions and rivalries between major powers have likely intensified. Factors such as territorial disputes, resource competition, ideological differences, and strategic ambitions create a volatile global environment ripe for conflict. Key flashpoints to watch are the South China Sea, the Korean Peninsula, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. 2. The escalation cycle. A realistic scenario for World War III would likely involve a series of escalating conflicts. A minor regional dispute or terrorist attack could trigger a chain reaction of military responses and alliances, as countries form alliances and counter-alliances based on mutual interests and ideological affinities. The potential for miscalculations and unintended consequences increases exponentially. 3. Cyber warfare. In this hypothetical scenario, cyber warfare would play a crucial role in the early stages of the conflict. State-sponsored hacking, cyber espionage, and sabotage could disrupt critical infrastructure, communication networks, and financial systems. The ability to disable an adversary's military assets, cripple economies, and sow chaos would be key objectives in this modern warfare scenario. 4. Nuclear deterrence and escalation. During a global conflict, the risk of nuclear weapons deployment becomes a significant concern. Nuclear-armed nations, driven by the fear of losing conventional wars, may resort to the use of nuclear weapons as a last resort. This action would escalate the conflict dramatically, inflict massive casualties, and potentially trigger a full-scale global nuclear war. 5. Alliances and coalitions. A realistic scenario for World War III would involve the formation of alliances and coalitions. Major powers such as the United States, China, Russia, and key players in the European Union would rally their respective allies, creating a multipolar world where countries align based on shared interests. 6. Proxy wars and regional conflicts. As the global conflict escalates, proxy wars and regional conflicts would intensify. Conflicts in regions like the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and Africa could expand, drawing in major powers to protect their interests or support their allies. Proxy wars would exacerbate existing tensions and make de-escalation increasingly difficult. 7. Economic implications. In a scenario of World War III, the global economy would suffer severe consequences. Global trade would be disrupted, leading to scarcity, inflation, and economic collapse. The potential destruction of critical infrastructure and industrial centers would further exacerbate economic hardships, with widespread poverty and socio-political unrest becoming prevalent. 8. Humanitarian catastrophe. World War III would undoubtedly lead to a catastrophic loss of human life. Mass displacement, civilian casualties, and the destruction of vital infrastructure would create a humanitarian crisis on an unprecedented scale. International organizations would struggle to cope with the immense demands of aiding affected populations, exacerbating the suffering of millions. While the scenario presented here is a hypothetical depiction of World War III, it is a grim reminder of the potential consequences of escalating global conflicts. Avoiding such a catastrophic event requires international cooperation, diplomatic efforts, and the recognition of common global interests. The world must prioritize peaceful conflict resolution, strengthen international institutions, and foster a culture of dialogue and understanding to prevent the realization of such a devastating scenario.